I was diagnosed with HIV on October 25th, 2010. I got infected by my boyfriend, who I trusted. I found out that he cheated on me.
I never thought that I would be infected with this virus. When she told me the news, it was like a dream or something.
Can't let the virus and the disease get to you. Just physically, mentally, emotionally, all of that, just period. You can't let it get to you.
It took me a tragedy to find out that I was home, and in this tragedy, I found out that I wasn't alone. Too many fallen casualties while devils sit on the throne. Too many eyes are closed to what's really going on.
My name is Stephanie. When I first got diagnosed, I had to learn how to be strong really fast. I don't have a boyfriend, but I do have beautiful people in my life when it comes to my friends.
Because, you know, I've been like, honestly, I need to protect my hair because I got a lot of breakage from this color, man. But tell me about that color.
Oh, yeah, he colored my hair. And then we was talking about putting some blonde right here, right? I get up and look in the mirror. I said, Kenny, I look like Dragon Ball Z.
Got the style going on.
It's pretty.
And so you have like twice as many colors as I do in my palette. Like, I'm supremely jealous.
There's some times where if I go out, I will take my pills with me. I have to take the pills for the rest of my life. I have to go to the doctor every 3-4 months for the rest of my life. There's no shame in it.
You look nice.
Maybe we can dig it.
Dig it, dig it.
dig it. Why are we always repeating stuff at the same
I don't know.
time?
She would stay out my brain. You so silly. You guys, are y'all being saved?
I don't have sex.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's not like I have multiple partners. I have, you know, my boo-boo. Sometimes we do and sometimes we don't.
In the very beginning, you know what I'm saying, of course, constant, because the other person doesn't want to go without one either. But then after a while, like, I've been with my person for 5 years. So it's just kind of like...
But that's still, it's not a guarantee.
I just say don't put your trust in all in one person like that, especially with your body. Because ain't no telling. A lot of guys think that just because a female looks good and she looks clean, you don't know how many times I heard that dumb. HIV has no look, it has no smell, it has nothing to say. It's no stamp on my forehead to say I'm positive until I tell you.
So, like, after you've already revealed it, and then it comes to that moment, it's like...
Oh, this is where people get confused. When they ask me, when I tell them my status, they ask me, can you still have sex? I'm just like, yeah, nothing's taken away. And it's just like people have this image that you can't be intimate, but it's using the condom. If did not take the condom off while we were having sex, I would not have this.
And I'm glad you said that because I wanted to know
about that, the detail in that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Was January of 2006, had sex with a guy one time. He took off the condom while we were having sex.
And you didn't know?
I didn't. I had an acknowledgement that he took it off.
Okay.
But soon after that, whatever.
Okay.
Both people are in the wrong. That's how I look at it. I'm not blaming that man for doing what he did because I knew where I was getting myself into.
I remember you had told me, like, you were, like, depressed for, like, what was it, a year or longer?
For a good minute. My grades started dropping like crazy. I just had this sense where I just felt like everything was just falling to pieces. So, that leads me to my next question. When's the last time you've been tested? Would y'all be willing to get tested, like, tomorrow?
It's scary, but I have no problem getting tested.
My name is Otis. I'm 25 years old, and I'm HIV positive. I was doing it good. I was doing it big. Had my own place, had my own, job, and going to school. I contracted HIV by having unprotected sex.
Hey, Otis.
Hey.
You ready?
I I was just scared. I was afraid of rejection, especially in the African-American community. Me being gay, me having HIV, I didn't think I was gonna get all the love and support that I'm getting now.
I still wish I could have done something different, but now that I got it, I know I gotta do what I gotta do to make sure I take care of my business.
Oh, see, I'm such a gentleman. I'm such a gentleman. I'm such a gentleman, right. Admit it, admit it. I am in a relationship with Kanai. Kanai is HIV negative. We've been together almost a year now. I remember the first time I told you about my status.
I remember you sitting in the car at the house and you kept fidgeting on what you really wanted to say. Listening to Monica about 100 times.
Oh my God, oh man. I was nervous.
I mean, I wasn't fully educated, like knew everything about it, but I knew enough. That's why when you told me, I told you, well, it doesn't bother me because a status is a status. It doesn't make you who you are. No matter what, you'll always be you. That's what I always tell you.
You know, I still think that the reason why I had to make your mom or your folks is just because of my status.
I mean, she already knows of you.
But did you let her know about the status part?
Well, no, but of course, that'll all come out. It wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter? Do you think they would?
I mean, as long as they're educated in what they need to know, then I know that they'll be okay. That lady in the trap.
You wanna try it?
Well, at least give it to me.
You took it out of time. You want to eat it. How you gonna eat it? Lord have mercy.
My name is Kelly. I am 25 years old, and I've been infected with HIV for 2 years. I can't drink and party like I used to before I got HIV, but I still have a lot of fun with my friends. Habanero and strawberry water? It sounds like a horrible idea.
What are we doing?
I am in a relationship. His name is Aaron. We've been official for 6 months. I told Aaron that I was HIV positive on our first date. I said, if this is gonna go any further, then there's something I need to tell you. And I just told him.
I think I said, don't judge you.
It was awesome. Unfortunately, I'm in a little bit of a rocky point with Aaron. Our relationship got extremely intense very quickly.
Yeah.
Aaron, I love you. I really do. Just get some space. He's in a really bad place, and he's holding on a little bit tighter than I feel he should. This is really cool.
You've never done this with me before, have you?
No.
I don't think you have problems when it comes to dating and finding somebody who cares, you know, like doesn't care about the fact that you're HIV positive.
Yeah. None of our issues had to do with HIV. That was the best part. He didn't mind using condoms. He didn't make an issue out of anything. I could have normal people problems. There's still don't get me wrong. It's nothing has to do with HIV.
Yeah.
It's all you have issues.
Yeah, he just wasn't supportive.
If he can get his together, then maybe we can talk about it. Hello? Hold on, we're outside. I'm gonna go inside the house.
Can I ask you one more time to just give me one last chance, please? I really, really, really need you, Kelly.
Aaron, I understand, but I need to take a step away for my health.
I need one last chance.
You keep asking me, and the answer is the same. What happened? It's okay. No worries. It's okay. Deep breath. It's okay. It's okay. Whether positive or negative, we all have a role to play in achieving an AIDS-free future. Head to gytnow.org to learn more.
So who's getting an HIV test today?
That would be me. The HIV stigma plays a huge part when it comes to the fear behind getting tested. Had I not went in to go get tested, I'd probably be dead.
Are you nervous?
Naturally, yeah. It's natural to be nervous. I had sex with a guy in January 2006. I went in and got tested June of 2006. Went in, told him to go ahead and test me for everything. And a week later, I was called back into the office, and that's when I was told I was positive.
Is this your first test?
Oh, no, this isn't. It's been a while.
You have been having unprotected sex? Since your last HIV test?
To some degree.
Okay. Yeah. My suggestion to everyone, whenever they have sex, just be safe. You know, wrap it up at all times. 5 minutes of pleasures is not worth your lifetime of taking medications. Now, basically, how this works, you're going to scrub your gums, front and back.
Oh, okay.
I'll help you. It feels weird, doesn't it?
It does.
It's not so bad, is it?
It's cool.
Okay. And put them in the serum. Do you understand how this test works? It's like a pregnancy test a little bit. 1 line is negative, 2 lines is positive. Okay. You have what line?
1 line.
Which just means?
I'm negative.
All right. Congratulations. So,
Thank you. Look at you.
Support system.
Yeah.
Would you like to take any kind of contraceptive with you today?
Sure.
Okay. Better safe than sorry. Go ahead. Knock yourself out.
Oh, the beauty shop on.
No, I don't like that movie. Go Up There, scary movie. Keep going.
Beetlejuice.
That ain't scary.
I don't want to watch that. That's gonna scare me. And why? What's wrong with the movies? Look, A Mother's Nightmare.
Hello? Hey. I have somebody I want you to meet.
Who?
Okay. It's my mom.
Are you serious?
Huh?
Hi.
Hi.
It's that. Oh, it is so. Oh, it's so good to talk to you.
I need to talk to each other.
I've been wanting to meet you is because I know for a fact that you are very important to him, just like how my mom is important to me.
Whenever, I hope one day maybe we can update her.
I look forward to that.
Okay, me too.
Nice talking to you.
Nice meeting you and talking to you.
You too. Hold on.
Okay, well, I'll talk to you later. I love you too. Bye. What you think?
I'm going to get you. Oh my God. So when are we going to meet? When is the day? When is the day? So I got to make sure I got my haircut. I got to make sure everything's on point.
Soon.
You know what? I'm not going to play with you no more. I'm not going to play with you.
You're crazy.
Oh my God. I can't believe I just talked to your mom.
Do you remember when we got that truancy ticket? And I had a cast. I was my broken foot.
Anna Marie is my best friend from high school. She and I have very similar senses of humor. I love her. I need to take my medicine.
How many pills do you have to take a day?
I have to take 1. No, I feel really lucky to have gotten it in this time in history,
Yeah.
Can you imagine getting it before
getting
96?
it before? Yeah.
Oh my God.
When you first told me, I think the best thing that you said was like, this is not gonna take me down or something like that. And I was like,
yeah, I didn't know anything about the disease. The next morning when I woke up and realized that it wasn't a dream, like that next morning it's always like,
yeah, right?
Because
you had time to like sleep on it and everything and then wake up and realize that you weren't dreaming.
Yeah, I played Sarah McLachlan Angel, and I was like, I just really want to play this song right now. It was really meaningful at the time.
I'm sure. No, I know. We laugh at it now. But
yeah. That's one thing. I'm constantly like, what? My pills.
Oh.
like a walking maraca.
So when you run into people that you haven't seen in a while or something like that, like, do you ever...
Like, there's a couple people who I haven't seen since before I got diagnosed, and I haven't told them yet. Like Dan, you remember my friend Dan?
Yeah. He doesn't know?
He doesn't know. He's so busy. He does stunts, so he's all over the globe all the time. I'm actually gonna go see him tomorrow. He is going to freak out when I tell him. Hey.
We need to sit down and talk. There's been a lot of stress, and we've been at each other's throats.
Yeah. We'll talk.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
When do I get to see you?
Do you want to go on a date tonight?
Yeah, I'll talk to you right there.
Okay.
I love you. I'll see you soon.
Okay. Love you too. Bye.
What are you thinking?
I don't know.
Like a bajillion.
Yeah, like 500 million things. Our relationship is very intense. If I see him making an honest effort to change his life for the positive, that I would be willing to give it another try. Everyone deserves a second chance.
Do you think that this is you giving him a second chance, or do you think that this is giving him, like,
a seventh chance?
The seventh chance.
Mm-hmm. This would be giving him the seventh chance.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've been diagnosed, I need to take care of myself. I have to take a pill every day and see the doctor every 3 months.
Hey, bye.
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. All right. So anything new going on?
Well, I know this weekend, the boyfriend's gonna be meeting my mom.
Uh-huh. Are you nervous?
Uh-huh.
So, at your last lab draw, you went from a viral load of 34, which is considered suppressed, but now you're undetectable.
Makes me proud.
Well, it should make you proud. It shows us that you're taking your medicine and that everything's going as planned. Really what we're looking at is stay suppressed all the time. And how do you stay suppressed? You just take your medicine, right?
There's no options on that because I get upset if I can't take my medication.
And you are in a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys using protection?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Why is it important?
So I won't infect them.
But also because if your CD4 cells have to go marching off to fight syphilis or something like that, why put them to that work? Okay. Save them for other things.
Okay. I'm kind of ticklish now.
Well, I'll try to be careful. I'll be gentle. I think I remember the last time I tried to do this and we didn't get very far.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're just very sensitive.
Hello.
Hey. On my way to my date with Aaron, I hope we can talk some things out and resolve some things and just have some fun, you know?
Let me know. Keep me updated.
Okay. Yeah.
You're gorgeous.
Thank you.
I know.
Very yellow.
I know how you like yellow. So what's new? What have you been up to the last couple of days?
I hung out with Anna Marie today.
Cool. Well, I've missed you.
Yeah, I missed you too. Aaron, okay. In order for me to put my heart completely back into it, which I'm willing to do, I just need to see that you're making changes. Spending some time away is good, and it's healing. That's all I ask for.
All right. Well, that was awesome. I have nothing else to say. nice.
Thank you.
Of course.
Oh, that looks so good.
I'm not so happy with you, Kelly. I'm not so happy with you.
I'm really confused. What?
I'm thinking about relocating to San Francisco.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Why are you telling me this right now? I don't understand where this is coming from. This is really confusing to me.
Having dinner is the first thing that popped into my mind.
I'm leaving. I'm done. So I'm gonna update you about Aaron.
First of all, how's the food?
The food was great.
Okay.
What I could eat.
Oh, okay.
I was very confused at the end of it. Very, very
Man.
confused. We talked about our relationship a little bit, and then he told me he was upset with me. And I was like, well, why? And he wouldn't talk. And I walked out.
Really?
Yeah, I just walked out. It was just awkward. It's just awkward.
There's been some past issues with relationships and stuff like that. I think that you've grown and matured and learned from them. You've seen the red flags with him significantly sooner than the past.
Yeah.
When you see the red flags, know that they're there for a reason.
That's really good advice, actually.
What's up?
Hey, nothing much. I'm just sitting here cleaning, waiting my mom to come through.
Okay.
I haven't seen her in about 8 months. So we're well overdue of seeing each other. But she is a neat freak. She's probably gonna come in and inspect the house. You know how moms say they don't inspect the house, but they really do. The eyes start wandering. So.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go.
All right. My mother moved 2 years ago. I was lonely because I was the only one here in Fayetteville. But if I stayed underneath her so much, I wouldn't have got the experience of being on my own and just being independent. Oh gosh. Mommy! How are you? Oh my God.
It's been so long, Stephanie. It feels like it's been a year and a half.
I know.
Oh my God.
I miss you too, Mama. She does get emotional. That's why I have to hold myself up, because I don't want her to worry about me.
You look good.
Thank you. You do too. Want some water?
Please.
Okay.
So how's everything going with meals and stuff like that?
I'm pretty straight. I do mostly fish in my
You don't have no
rice.
milk in there. You need something. What kind of supplement do you have? Hot Pockets.
Out of your feet.
You need to make up your bed? Did you cut your hair again because you're hiding it from me?
No, I started locking it.
You're locking it? Boom, boom, boom. Staff.
Yeah.
So we go to the park. Tell me a little bit more what you're going through as far as your checkups and...
I'm good as far as the viral load. How much is the virus in my system? It's still less than 20 counts, so that's a blessing.
Is that the main
Those
thing
two,
that you...
the viral load and the CD4 count, those two things are the main things they look at. Because
Okay.
your viral load has to stay down.
Okay.
That's how much of the virus is in your system. As long as that's down.
And you're good at that. You're stable. When's your next appointment? Do you still go every 3 months?
It's 4 months now since
Every
I've been doing so well. They moved it to 4 months.
Wow, good.
I'm just to the point where it's just like, bring it on. I'm ready.
There's nothing that you can't do.
And you gotta learn that for yourself. I had to learn to stop beating myself up. I beat myself up way too much. Because I remember when I first found out how I was depressed and I wouldn't sit around for too long.
Yeah.
And you had to break it down to me to let me know that I wasn't the only one that was living with it. And that always stays in my mind, too.
I know I'm going to get emotional. When you first tell Mom I've been diagnosed, you know, with HIV, to me it was one word, death.
Right.
And I said, Lord, why her? Why my daughter?
Right.
But I'm proud of who you are today because you didn't run from it. You're standing it, facing it, looking at it face on, saying it's not going to beat me. I'm going to beat it. I'm proud of you because you taught me a lot. And I appreciate that, and I will always love you. Okay?
Hey, I'm really excited. I haven't seen you in so long. I have so much to tell you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, I'll see you soon.
Okay.
Okay. All right, bye.
This is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us.
Dan is an old boyfriend from when we were teenagers. He's my stuntman friend. I'm nervous going to tell Dan I have HIV.
Like the ceiling can't hold us.
Hey. Hey. Oh my God.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Oh my God. I haven't seen you in so long. I want to go on the tramp really bad.
Hey.
Dude, I haven't bounced in so long. Still got it. All right.
So what is this?
What, yeah, I've gone through a lot of changes. I have HIV.
Seriously?
Seriously. Yeah,
I don't know what to say to that.
I know.
When?
Like-
Her? How?
My ex.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Do you still talk to him?
no. Like, I'm fine now. You know, I'm on medication. I'm undetectable.
What does that mean?
Undetectable means that the virus is suppressed to the point where you almost can't detect it in my blood. And
Can it get worse than that?
if I don't take my medication and if I'm not under proper medical supervision, it can get worse than that. But in this day and age with medication the way it is, I'm gonna live into my 70s. I can have a totally normal life. I can have kids and
Really?
not, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was waiting to tell you in person, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah, you mean a lot to me. But yeah,
That's crazy.
that's what's going on. I have poor taste in men.
Hey.
No, if I would have stayed with you if I didn't have poor taste in men.
I'm really happy you're okay, though.
Thank you. I stopped drinking.
That sucks.
I know, it's cool. My doctor said it's better for me if I stop drinking. My medicine is hard on my liver.
Well, we always need a DD.
You guys need a DD. I could do that.
See, there
I
you
could
go.
do that. I think I'm fun without alcohol.
Well, I want to hang out with you more.
I might need a cuddle companion.
I provide an excellent house.
I know you do. Cuddle beds.
Totally down. Thank you, promise.
Here, promise. Here, kiss it.
So, Mr. Man, we on our way to this family gathering. How do you feel?
Are they gonna like me?
I'm pretty sure they will. But it's like, If mama doesn't like you, probably she won't really talk to you. She won't say nothing to you.
Well, I hope she's gonna like me.
You'll be good. You'll be good. I put together this little gathering at my aunt's house. The big deal is the fact that if I introduce you to my parent, that means I'm really serious about what I have here. I want to show you off to the world. We are almost here. Oh, boy. I'm hungry. You hungry?
I'm nervous.
Hey, baby. Yeah. Hey, mama.
What's up, baby?
My family mean the world to me. When I came out and told them I was gay, that was hard. When I found out I was HIV positive, I waited a year to tell them because, honestly, I was afraid they would reject me.
Okay,
How we doing?
I'm
good.
You look good.
Thank you.
Look like your dad.
Where my money at? I want to play.
Yeah, it's your go.
Okay. Look at him.
How much is that? Stop, baby. 21. 21. 21.
Already. Better ask somebody.
Better than the rest.
Mama said you was cute.
I did say you was cute. I'm being honest, you know. You a part of the family now. He said he cares about you. I appreciate that, okay? He's my son, my firstborn, and I will not allow anybody to down him at all, okay?
Even when we knew each other long back when, I told him, your family will be okay with, you know, with
That's
you
right.
and everything. And he's
See,
like,
you felt it already, huh?
Yeah.
Already. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you for that.
You okay, honey? I just wanted my parents to finally meet Kanai and want them to accept him in this family.
Tell Junior to come in here.
Yes, ma'am.
What you doing, baby? You all right?
Yes, ma'am.
You sure? You look good.
Thank you.
You eating right?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know I am about that. I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
yeah.
This means so much to me. It really does. Mama here is important to me.
Okay.
I want him to
and
meet
I
Daddy,
respect. Okay.
but I really want him to meet you. I thank you so much for supporting me because it wasn't hard for me to tell you that I was gay when I thought that you were just on.
No, I wouldn't.
And
No,
the fact that now that I'm
Look, you stop.
now that I'm HIV positive, it's like I accept myself, but I thought you wouldn't.
No.
I thank you so much.
That's why I'm not gonna disown you, baby. I love you. You hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
You still got big and better things to do. I need you to focus.
Yes, ma'am.
Take your medicine. You eat like you're supposed to. You're gonna be here, baby. Be positive. Don't take no negative.
It's like I don't want to be a disappointment.
No,
to
you're
you.
not a disappointment. You're not a disappointment. Things happen. Ain't nobody perfect. You don't worry about what nobody else talking about. You got supportive family. Everybody that's here is supporting you, baby. That's all you need to worry about. You don't worry about other people out there in the streets, okay? We got you. And I never turn my back on you. You know that? I love you. You hear me? Stop it.
I love you. Thank you.
I already know y'all up to something. Honestly, Dad, I really am taking you home. All right. From the moment I told my dad I was HIV positive, he's been there for me. What is that? Wow. When I was chosen to be on billboards to spread awareness about HIV and AIDS, my dad is the first person I thought of to share this experience with me.
Surreal.
So this is your first time seeing it, right? How does it feel?
It's weird.
His eyes are weird.
All I can say is this is so surreal. It's awesome. I'm glad you let me be a part of this.
Have you ever been on a billboard before?
No. But my son's right by my side. And I'm by your side. All right.
This is our deciding moment when I told my dad that I was HIV positive. Mm-hmm.
When you were telling me, it wasn't like my whole world just crumbled, but I felt helpless. Like there was something I didn't do or something I didn't say. I didn't protect you. I had this burden in a sense that my son is sick, okay? But looking at you, you don't look sick. You know, and again, we are helping people. You know, get the message out there, let them know you being HIV positive is still a positive thing between me and you.
Everyone needs to see what type of loving father I have because of the simple fact that I'm gay and HIV positive, and you accept me through all of this.
I got you back, no matter what.
I appreciate it.
Give me love.
Oh, thank you. That's the real.
Look at that chunky baby. That's where you started.
Had no hair.
That's like
what happened to my hair?
4 months old. I like these pictures. You like them?
Yeah, I like pictures like this.
But you know which one means a lot to me, though?
What's that?
Is this one right here. You were 16 years old then. You remember how it was when me and you first got out by ourselves? When me and Dad separated?
Mm-hmm.
It's like we were together for so long, it was just you and I. When I got on that road, I just felt like I was leaving you.
Mm-hmm. I didn't want you to think that you were leaving me. We just had to move on. It was time for me. It was ready for me to get an apartment. I got everything established. It's been 2 years now. You honestly have nothing to worry about. Baby girl is good. Stephanie's doing well, very well.
That one right there is our last family one together. Look how y'all have grown.
Right.
Since them little babies.
I mean, yeah, I miss everybody. It does get a little rough. It's just the distance. That's one of the things I'm getting over, though. Or trying to get over. It's just the fact of feeling lonely. When I know I'm not lonely, you know, I'm not alone. But just being here in Fayetteville after y'all moved, you know, I'm just here by myself.
It's gonna take some time, I'm not gonna lie to you. But I know you're okay. And I want you to know just how much I miss you. And when I leave you, I don't want to, but I know I have to. That's why I hug you like I do.
I love you. Whether positive or negative, we all have a role to play in achieving an AIDS-free future. Head to gytnow.org to learn more. Stay tuned. The conclusion of I'm Positive is coming up right now.
Can you work the boom for me today?
Of course.
Really? Of course. Okay, I thought you were gonna get mad now.
No. I'm co-producing, remember?
Yes.
Sai is probably the best friend I could have ever asked for. After I told her that I have HIV, she actually got really interested. She decided to start working on a documentary for her school about HIV and AIDS.
Do you know how to work a boom?
Yeah, I've done it before.
Okay.
I took a film class in high school. I remember things.
Okay.
Hey guys, we're doing a student film. Would you be interested in being interviewed on camera to answer just a couple questions about why you're here and what you know about the disease?
Yeah.
Awesome. Is this close to your heart for any reason?
I heard of friends, family members that died of AIDS. So that kind of made me appreciate, you know, life.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. That was perfect.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm here for AIDS Walk. My friend name is John, and he passed away, and I really miss him so much.
I know people
that have this disease, but it affects everybody, whether you know someone that has the disease or not. There's a lot of more work that needs to be done.
You can be anyone from any type of religion, culture, anyone could help out and prevent it from happening and hurting people, thousands of people that have been hurt and killed by this disease.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We really appreciate your time. HIV is something really difficult to come to terms with, especially with the stigma attached to it. You know, I'm learning to live in harmony with it, and I'm okay with it.
This is not a death sentence. I'm still living life. I'm taking care of myself. I'm doing what I have to do in order to maintain a long, healthy lifestyle.
This is a disease that I'm fighting. I'm fighting every day of my life with this disease. Whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, I'm fighting. I'm putting up a fight. And I realize these things that have happened to me have only made me grow.
Whether positive or negative, we all have a role to play in achieving an AIDS-free future. Head to GYTnow.org to learn more.
Hi, I'm Dr. Drew Pinsky, and I'm here with Stephanie, Otis, and Kelly, who were featured in the MTV special, I'm Positive. And we followed these young people's lives living with HIV. Joining us here in the studio is also a special audience, the members of which have been touched in some way by this disease, and I would thank you all for being here. Many people don't realize that today HIV is not a death sentence, it is a life commitment. Although, it's still no fun, right? No fun. It's not something you want to have to deal with, and you can avoid it through prevention and protection. And with early detection and treatment, you can live a long, healthy, and productive life. You'll also be doing your part to prevent the spread of the disease and move the world closer to an AIDS-free future, and that is why we're here. But first, let's start with the basics. What did you know about this condition before you were diagnosed? Anything?
The fact that it was a death sentence.
You thought before it actually was, that if I got HIV, I was going to die. So when you got the diagnosis,
Right. My first thought was, just tell me when I'm gonna pass away. That was like my first thought. Just tell me how long I have to live, and let me just go from there. And that was my first thought.
that's
Seriously.
awful. You guys?
I was going to prove them wrong. If they told me I was waiting for them to tell me I was going to die within like maybe 6 months.
Right.
But I was going to do the best I can to try to prove them wrong. I was going to try to do something more.
Did you know much about the disease when you were first diagnosed?
Didn't know anything about that. It was, like she was saying, a death sentence.
You just thought it'd be bad times. Kelly?
I knew that HIV was a virus and that it causes AIDS, and that once you get AIDS, you have 5 to 7 years.
That's
I actually knew that.
So
yeah.
that was the data in your head.
Yeah, and I also knew that Magic Johnson's still going. Yeah. So I thought he was cured. So I honestly kind of thought I could be cured.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anything you'd like to set straight now based on your own distortions about the facts?
If a person is HIV positive, don't give up. Just keep going.
Well, let's talk about that. People around you, when you were first diagnosed, also had misconceptions, I'm sure.
Yeah. Right.
And did a lot of people recoil and not want to touch you and that kind of business?
Right. I've had a couple of incidents going to school, going to college, and actually speaking while I was going to college.
About HIV?
About my experience, about my status, and I was open. Still open now. But about a day after I shared my status on campus, I had a class with a female that was out there at the event, and she saw me, and she was just like, "You're in this class?" And I'm just like looking at her. I didn't think anything of it. I'm just thinking she was asking for some other reason. But when I sat down, I heard her talking about HIV, and I heard her talking about me when outside of the classroom.
Do you want to be real clear about what the reality is of that for anybody else out there that might have misconceptions?
You're not gonna get it from touching me. We can share a spoon, straw. We can hug.
And if a person really loves you, then they'll be there for you, giving you whatever kind of support it is that you need. So you may think one way that they may treat you a certain direction, but certain way, but you won't know unless you just, have that family support. I think having your family support is a big thing.
Let me ask from your perspective, people wonder if because you have HIV, you have to be careful around people with colds or upper respiratory infections.
Right.
Do you have to really watch out for that?
I don't feel that need personally. At first, like I was afraid to ride my bike in the rain. I was like, oh my God, am I gonna catch a cold from riding my bike outside right now? So I stayed in.
When I first got diagnosed, it was like that. People would sneeze around me. I was like, oh my God. I try to cover up my mouth or something like that, or try to get far away from it as I can.
Yeah. The first time you get sick after you have HIV, you're like,
oh my God. It's like, is this it? Is this it? Oh my God.
Now, let's set that record straight. You know you don't have to worry like that.
Right,
yes, exactly. Not anymore. No.
What do you think the biggest struggle is of someone living with HIV? Yeah, let's go right down the line. Let me start with Kelly. I'll move towards Stephanie. Kelly?
The biggest struggle is making sure you have access to medication at all times. Making sure you have insurance. If you don't have insurance, maybe there's state measures that give you access to medication. You always have to have access to medical coverage.
I would say surround yourself around positive people, not HIV positive, but in a mind frame of positive folks, because they can really uplift you in your time of needs when you are really, because you can get very depressed. There are days when you will be like, okay, I'll wake up the next morning like, oh my God, I cannot believe I still have this. But if you surround yourself with, individuals that'll love you and be there for you, then everything will be good.
Well, there's a lot packed into what you said, Otis. I mean, that was why we named this special I'm Positive, because it has so many different meanings. And it's interesting to me that, Kelly, you were shaking your head vigorously when Otis said that.
Yeah.
You want to comment about that?
Well, I remember the first week after getting diagnosed, you wake up in the morning realizing it's not a nightmare. That sinking feeling in your heart that you wake up and that wasn't a dream, it's still here. I still have it.
And it's like a whole nother life. It's like you have a life from when you first born up to whatever age it was that you were diagnosed. And then now, since you're diagnosed, it's like a whole nother new life.
Different.
And it's like, okay, now I got to try to make sure I do a lot, take care of myself in this life now better than I did in the past life.
You both of you, at least before I go to Stephanie, are talking as though you're worried about demise.
No, I don't feel like I'm worried about demise. I'm an undying optimist.
Oh, yeah.
You're positive.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
I'm positive,
literally.
pun intended.
Yeah, because that's the reality. People live decades with this condition.
Oh, yeah.
Very different than when I first started treating people with HIV. Stephanie, what's the most difficult thing?
Most difficult thing is just holding it all together. Physically, mentally, emotionally, especially just from my point of view, the fact that I don't have family around like that.
Oh, wow, you guys pack so much into your
Oh,
statement.
well, okay. well,
holding what all together?
Your emotions. Not to let your...
What's going on with your emotions?
Just up and downs. 1 minute you won't even think about HIV, 1 minute. And then the next minute it could be you taking your pills.
Stephanie, I'm having an experience just sitting here with you. You don't seem like somebody holding it together. You seem like somebody with it together.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on? What do you mean by holding it together? What are the feelings that are troubling you?
It's just the not loneliness, I wouldn't say loneliness, but just the emotional aspect of HIV.
What is that? Tell me.
It's the fear of rejection if you happen to start dating someone again.
Okay, so fear of having to deal with all that.
Right.
How do you have intimacy and closeness?
Right.
How do you deal with that?
I still date. I still I disclose my status, of course.
How do people react?
You get pros and cons. I've had somebody just completely change the subject, and I haven't spoke to them ever since. And then
that's got to hurt.
Exactly, it stings. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it stings because you're a good person, but that person. I graduated from college. I have my own place, my own car, and it's like all of that is erased as soon as I tell them my status.
You become this illness.
Exactly.
That's awful.
Yeah. So it's just like you take away the fact that I'm still human. I have this disease, but it's manageable. But you're kind of looking at me like, well, I can't touch you.
Ugh.
Or I can't be intimate.
That's got to be painful right there.
It is.
I can't touch you.
Exactly.
Would it be accurate to say being left alone is the hardest part?
Exactly.
Not just being alone, because you've got lots of people in there.
Because, I still like to show, I like the affection and, simple things like that. But when it's that you're searching for it and you're not necessarily getting it back when you want it, that stings. It's like an empty
I
void.
think you need somebody to hold your hand.
Yeah.
You have somebody hold your hand all the time?
No, not all. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Not always.
Don't you need that? Got your mom, right?
It's like you get over it. Well, you can't get over it because it's always going to be in the back of your mind for the next experience. But it's just like, and that's what makes me push even more to do the show, to clear up the stigma. Because I know I'm not a bad person. Excuse me.
You're excused. You need somebody here.
I told myself I'm going to do this.
Sorry.
But it stings.
Yeah.
It's like an empty void that you're trying to fill. And you want somebody to be there. And you want somebody to accept you.
You two can relate pretty strongly, right? You can relate?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
Don't you want to hug her?
A little
bit. This ain't gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Oh, you guys. That's what makes me want to push and do this even more, because the fact that people have this stigma, thank you, they have this stigma that's attached to it. And there's no reason for you to have this stigma and this idea of what HIV is when it's so manageable. It's been out for 30 plus years. And as people think it's brand new. And a lot of people forgot about it.
Yeah,
And
that's why we're here. All right, Stephanie, let me zero in on you a little bit. Okay. You, when you were first diagnosed, had somewhat of an unusual experience. Most people have no symptoms.
Exactly.
You had something different.
I had symptoms, but I didn't realize those were the symptoms until, like, when I started getting educated in knowing the window period, the 3 to 6 month window period.
What were your symptoms?
The flu. I was out. I couldn't walk, talk, eat, do anything, get up from the bed for a week straight. Like, I was in the bed involuntarily for a week straight.
We call that the acute HIV infection that some people have. They get like a viral infection. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I went to the emergency room. They told me I just had a flu bug and sent me right back.
They didn't test you?
Nope.
That's a problem. Young people with a flu syndrome should be tested. There's really a movement afoot where everyone should know their HIV status. And here you were coming, a young person with symptoms suggestive on the differential, HIV is a possibility, not tested.
Exactly.
Unconscionable. All right. Now, in the special, you took a friend to get tested, right?
Right.
Let's take a look at that scene.
Is this your first test?
Oh, no, this isn't. It's been a while.
You have been having unprotected sex? Since your last HIV test?
To some degree,
okay.
Yeah.
My suggestion to everyone, whenever they have sex, just be safe. You know, wrap it up at all times. 5 minutes of pleasures is not worth your lifetime of taking medications. Now, basically, how this works, you're going to scrub your gums, front and back.
Oh, okay.
I'll help you. It feels weird, doesn't it?
It does.
It's not so bad, is it?
It's cool.
Okay. And put them in the serum. Do you understand how this test works? It's like a pregnancy test a little bit. 1 line is negative, 2 lines is positive. Okay. You have what line?
1 line.
Which means?
Negative.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, look at you.
Support system.
Yeah.
That is how simple testing can be. I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. Stephanie, what was it like sitting there waiting for those results with her?
For one, really all I could think about was me. I was proud of her for taking the test, and then doing it in front of the camera as well. But her taking the test, and I was just proud of her. I was proud to be there for support, because that is my best friend. And just happy that she just took part in a major movement, seriously.
Did it throw you back to when you were first being tested yourself?
No, because the way I got tested was through a pap smear, and I had blood work done through the pap smear.
So you weren't sitting there waiting for a result?
No, I didn't think anything of it. I just told them, go ahead and test me for everything, because it's about that time. I'm here for a pap smear anyway. And a week later, I got the phone call. So I'm thinking it's something else, not even pertaining to HIV. And sure enough, I sit down in the doctor's office, and to my left, there was the computer screen, and he was sitting there. I'll never forget it. He had this look on his face. I can tell something was wrong right off gate. And then he said, you came back negative for hepatitis C, but you came back positive for HIV. And from there, the whole question about how long do I have to live? Why me? How am I going to tell my mother, the boyfriend I was with at the time? It was so many just questions. Questions, who, how, just questions on top of questions. So that was different because it was the mouth swab compared to actually taking the blood. So, but wow, I'll never forget that experience.
I want to clarify for people that it wasn't actually the pelvic exam and pap smear from which you got the results. It was the blood testing that you requested for general screening.
Exactly. I asked for that test. That's the major difference. You can't go in and just expect somebody to test you for HIV because they won't.
One day maybe we will. But
yeah,
now,
exactly.
Now it's asking patients to ask. Now in the special we see your mom so happy because your viral levels, your viral load, so to speak, is undetectable.
Right.
You're taking treatment and the virus is suppressed.
Right.
What else are you doing to maintain your good health?
I changed up my diet. I don't do beef or pork anymore, just chicken and fish, veggies. I love veggies and fruits and drink plenty of water. That's because of the medication, the water. The water is very important to flush out kidneys and your liver because the medication is so strong.
How many pills in your regimen?
4 pills, but 3 bottles. So I take 2 out of 1 and then 1 out of the other 2.
Now you mentioned you have insurance, and so insurance is paying for your resources now?
No insurance now, but I go through ADAP.
Which is?
The Drug Assistance Program. That actually helps pay for our meds and gets our meds available to us. And
so you can go through the state, or you can go through Patient Assistance Program, which is what yours is.
Right. Yes.
And that takes care of all the resources.
Yes.
Not cheap.
Not cheap at all. No, not at all. Funding and help is really important. And when you don't have insurance, when you don't have a job, when you feel like you're by yourself, all of that is important.
Now we've got an audience here who have lots of questions. Is there someone in our audience, I believe it's Shannon, that has a question for Stephanie?
What did you do after you were diagnosed as far as advocating HIV/AIDS?
Good questions. So other than doing this program, which by the way, congratulations for doing this show and being courageous enough to come be public and stand up for everybody and talk about this, what else did you do and at what point did you decide to become more proactive?
After I got diagnosed, I went to go get a second opinion because I still didn't believe it. So the place that I went to go get a second opinion from, I went back to him and asked to just volunteer. And he hired me on the spot to go inside of the jail and tell my status, to share my story. And from there, that's where the whole speaking thing. And I've been doing that for 3 years now.
Well, Stephanie, thank you for sharing your story and being such a beautiful face of. I'm just imagining you walking through the jails and what that must be, how impactful, Otis, how impactful that must be for some of the, is it women's jail or men's jail?
I talked to men and women. I went to every pod there was.
God bless you, right? That sounds, it's like, hats off. All right, when we come back, we're going to get Kelly's story and ask Otis what it's like to see a 10-foot tall version of your head on a billboard, right? Right, Otis? Yeah, 10-foot Otis head. Don't go away, I'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Drew here with Otis, Kelly, and Stephanie, and we're going to zero in on you, Otis, for a minute here. How did you find out you were HIV positive? What happened?
I actually had a family member came and tell me, because I started telling him about some of the symptoms that I was having, and so he would let me know that there may be some signs of infection. So, and it was on a Sunday, and I wanted to go get tested right then and there, but the health department was closed. So the next day we went, and sure enough, that's what it was. And I thought it may be, honestly, I thought it may be like an STD before it's HIV. I didn't think.
What were the symptoms?
My lymph nodes and my neck was swelling up, and I was like sliding up like real big knots. I'm like, what is this? I'll slide them up and down, or I had, as she was saying, the flu-like symptoms.
You knew something was wrong.
I knew something wasn't right.
You now work for an organization that helps others get tested, is that right? Tell me about that.
It's just like how I got the peer support. I'm doing the same thing.
Were you working with those kinds of organizations before you were? No, it's something new for you.
Something new.
And your family's been very, very supportive, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which has been nice. You and your dad are on a giant billboard. We see that in the special. Let's go ahead and roll that scene, in fact. Let's do that.
So this is your first time seeing it, right? And how does it feel?
It's weird.
It sounds weird.
All I can say is
This is so surreal. It's awesome. I'm glad you let me be a part of this.
Have you ever been on a billboard before?
No. But my son's right by my side. And I'm by your side. All right.
This is our deciding moment when I told my dad that I was HIV positive.
Your dad seems like such a great guy.
He is.
And clearly he's in a good place now. It's sort of more than accepting you, like just a very full relationship you have with him.
Yeah.
Was that moment when you told him? I mean, it's easy to gloss it now because he's so great, but it still must have been tough in that moment.
Tell him about my status? It wasn't easy.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Easy at all. He was getting ready to drop me off at home, and I had just moved.
Like you're driving in a car together?
Well, he was actually driving, yeah, and I was in the back seat behind him.
Oh.
And he had dropped me off at the apartment I had recently, I think, had just moved into. And he knows what I do for us working with other individuals who are HIV positive.
Oh, so you started working for HIV testing before you told your dad you were positive? So do you think he sort of had a suspicion?
He started putting two together.
Okay.
So he
Did he bring it up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He brought it up and asked me, he said, so you guys must get tested, right? And I said, yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, he's getting ready to ask me. I already started moving.
Here it comes.
And he says, so what was your result? And I'm thinking in my head, okay, should I lie to him? Or, you know, I'm a grown man. I'm not supposed to lie to him. Yes, I got tested, and yes, Dad, I'm HIV positive. It got complete silence in the car. And I'm sitting there like, and then all of a sudden it was like he was still there, and he told me to promise that I would take care of his son. And I told him that I promise that I will take care of your son. It's like he wanted to bring me closer because I guess he didn't want to, he would rather have me in his life than to not have me in at all.
Now, your partner, Kanai, he is HIV negative. What is it like being with someone who's HIV negative? How do you guys manage that?
Well, when I first told him, because we have history from back in the day when we were teenagers, but now it's like when we got back in touch and I told him, I thought he was like, okay, well, you know, I can't deal with that, you know.
How did he react?
He actually said, okay, you know, I'm educated about
We'll figure this out.
Yeah, I know how I can get it. I know how I can't get it. And I was like, I'm just sitting here looking at him like, is that it? But he was like, there's nothing, I know how, I'm educated about it.
So what are you guys doing? How are you managing that?
Use
condoms?
Yeah, use protection.
Okay. And there's a new movement afoot, too, called pre-exposure prophylaxis. Something you could talk to your doctor about that. A lot of head shaking over here. You could talk to that. The negative person can discuss that with their physician if they want to try that kind of approach to add another layer of protection. Also, I imagine keeping your viral load at 0. If there's no virus around, how can you transmit a virus that's not there?
Right.
So treatment and prevention. Treatment and prevention.
Exactly.
That's sort of our sort of mantra here today.
That's one thing I make sure I tell everyone that I come in contact with. Get educated, get tested, know your status, and if you happen to be HIV positive, please get in care.
Anything different in your day-to-day life as a result of HIV?
The fact that I have to take a pill every day.
That's it. Right. And you actually met Kanai's mom, is that right?
Not yet.
Not yet. You plan to?
I plan to.
Why is that so important to you?
Because I know how important she is to him. And because he constantly, just like how my mother is very important to me. And I know if I'm important to him and I know she's important to him, then I want us to finally meet each other and be a part. I want us important people to actually meet each other.
And although you haven't met, she does know your status, is that correct? How'd she react?
She has some concerns from what I was told. She has some concerns, and with the education, she's good.
She's good now?
Yeah.
She didn't freak out at first?
Well, Kanai actually told her, and I'm just going from, you know, what he had shared with me.
And what did he tell you?
And he told me that, you know, she was concerned, and he had
to concerned or she freaked out?
I guess so.
Because, you know, listen, people have misconceptions about this.
Right.
I mean, you guys must come in contact with people that have grave distortions about the reality of this.
Now, I have had, you know, certain people who bust out and they find out that I'm HIV positive. Oh my God, he got AIDS? And I'm like, I don't have AIDS. And then you got HIV, don't you? Yeah, that's the same thing. No, it's not. And by that time, I start getting all mad and buffed up in the chest, but then I have to relax and calm it down. So
Stephanie, you responded to that too.
Yeah, definitely. When people think of HIV, it's automatically AIDS, but I have to break it down to them. Like the whole point of me taking meds is so I don't get down to the AIDS point.
Right. So let's clarify for, again, if there are people watching who have misconceptions, taking these antiviral medications not only reduce the potential for spreading the virus by 96%, 96% reduction in spread, again, part of what you and Kanai are practicing, you reduce the risk of progressing to the illness we call AIDS.
Right.
And you can live for decades with the virus without AIDS.
Exactly.
That's why there's that big disconnect that people have. They put them together. And when I first started practicing medicine, when we would, I was a resident still, and people would come in with their first pneumocystis pneumonia episode, and we would sit them down and say, you have 6 months to live. And we were never wrong. That's how different, that's how far we have come. Wow is right, Kelly. and the point is that we have come a long way, and I'm not sure the public is caught up with how far we've come with this thing. And that's one of the, you're shaking your head now, why?
Because like I said, when I first got the diagnosis,
you thought that way then.
I was going to do the best I can to prove them wrong. I don't know how, but I was going to do it.
Well, you did it. And that's why we're, excuse me, that's why we're here, to show everybody what the modern condition is.
Right.
Not back when old guys like me were residents. Stephanie's trying to rescue me. So another point, though, is interestingly, both you and Stephanie had symptoms when you were diagnosed. Most people don't have symptoms when they discover their status. You can. You didn't have any symptoms.
That's why it's best to get tested and know your status. Use protection.
Use protection. Get tested. It's very simple.
Oh yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah. I know it's easier said than done, but please try. Please try.
We actually have another question from the audience. Stephen, you have a question for us.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you personally for being a Black, gay, HIV positive person and showing your story to everyone. I'm positive. I've been positive my whole life, so it's kind of different from you guys in a way, because you guys got diagnosed and you have a whole new life. You got to take medicine and this and that. But me, it was like my life. It's normal to me. So I kind of want to just say commending you all for how brave you guys are. My question is...
Before we ask the question, Steve, I want to commend you for representing a population.
We were just thinking that. I think all of us were thinking the same thing.
That gets underrepresented, perhaps, which is what we call the perinatal transmission of HIV, which is the mother can transmit it to baby. It's common. It can be prevented, also, by the way, for those of you that are pregnant with HIV. But a lot of babies did get it, and as a result, there is a population like yourself out there. So thank you for representing that.
Yeah, so my question is, what made you want to tell your story that you're positive on TV instead of, just going home, telling whoever in the quietness and whatever, and just instead of just doing it on live television?
Who wants to answer that? Otis?
The reason why...
You got the one with the 10-foot head on the board.
The reason why I chose because I wanted to be the last person. And I felt like if this is what I have to do to get individuals, especially youth, to understand that this HIV is alive and it's no joke, then I would do it. I would put it doesn't matter. If this is what I have to do, I would do it.
I just don't want anybody to have to go through that. I feel like HIV and AIDS should stop with our generation.
Exactly.
I feel like, I'm just a girl from the suburbs. If I can get through this and if I can remain positive and achieve my dreams and still have a positive outlook on life, then anybody can do it.
Stephanie?
What got me to actually do this on TV, I was starting my own documentary. I was filming and stuff at the house, and it was just to show just the daily life it's no different than anyone else who's negative. I'm still trying to look for a job. I just graduated from college, and I just wanted to show people I still have it's my life. My life is no different than anyone else other than the fact that I take meds.
You are not the condition. The condition doesn't define you. You're a person with a condition.
Right.
Exactly.
Otis, thanks for sharing.
No
Really, thank you for introducing us to your family. They're lovely.
Thank you.
And your boyfriend.
Yeah,
seems a good guy, too.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, last but certainly not least, we're going to speak to Kelly from Los Angeles when we come back. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Drew, and this is Otis, Stephanie, and on to Kelly. Kelly, so much drama in your story.
Yeah.
What's up with all that?
You guys caught me at a kind of a sensitive time in my relationship.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Kelly, take us back to when you were first diagnosed.
I was dating a young man, and we had chosen to stop using condoms after a few months of dating. And I knew that that was a silly decision, and so I brought him into Planned Parenthood with me to get tested.
So let me get this straight. You were doing the responsible thing, which was, hey, if we're not going to use condoms, we're going to be tested.
Right.
For everything.
Yes.
And so they tested you for HIV.
Yes.
A blood test?
They did the Western blot, where they prick your finger and then they take blood.
And were you told right there?
Well, he was pulled into the room first. He was pulled in, they took his blood, they did the Western blot, they sent him back out, and then I still wasn't pulled in. 15 minutes later, they pulled him back in, and then he came out with pieces of paper in his hand with information about HIV on it.
He was positive also.
Oh, yeah. We had this relationship.
Let me stop you.
Oh.
And then they pulled you in and said you're positive as well, or?
I went up to the window after he came out. I thought he was joking at first, so it took me a second for it to register, and my vision went kind of blurry, and I was like, I have it. So I walked up to the window, I had them pull me into the side, and I said, my boyfriend just tested positive for HIV, you need to pull me in there as soon as possible.
So you went into the room, you were tested.
Yeah, they did the Western blot, they had to prick my fingers like 5 times in
Great.
order to get enough blood. I was like, come on.
And so they said, now you're positive.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
My mind was blank. I read through the information they gave me several times and nothing really registered. I was just like, what do I do next? Well, the first treatment center was a free clinic. They actually turned us away because they told me I made too much money. So.
It's a complicated thing getting treatment.
Yeah,
you had insurance at that point, right?
I didn't.
Did not.
I didn't have insurance. It made it double scary. I ended up finding somewhere in West Hollywood to get treatment. They took us in and they retested us and gave us a second opinion.
Do we need to give a hats off to that organization?
Yes, we do. Should I?
Yes, please.
The Gay and Lesbian Center in West Hollywood is just phenomenal. They're amazing.
There are lots of great resources out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you were diagnosed early and treated early. Tell us about the importance of that.
I mean, I don't know how to emphasize enough the importance of that. I jumped into research immediately after getting diagnosed, and I was just looking for information about how to take care of myself properly, and I was a little scared to start medication, and I waited a few months. I saw my viral load spike. It tripled before I started taking medication.
Is that what convinced you to take medication?
Yeah.
That you could see the biology and you'd read about what the goals of treatment were and you believed it.
Correct.
And did it.
Yes.
And then you watched as your viral loads fell.
I watched as my viral loads fell, and then recently my T cells jumped.
Nice.
Which was awesome to see.
Yeah. The treatment works.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? It's very frustrating when people aren't willing to take treatment.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
How
is your life different than your peers who are HIV negative? In terms of socializing, partying, that sort of thing.
At first, it was always in the back of my mind. Whenever I would meet someone new, I had this voice in my head that was like, I have HIV, I have HIV, I have HIV, and it just replayed over and over and over again.
So what? So then I'm diminished by that. They won't like me.
It's
They won't want to be around me.
constantly present in my mind. I found it more difficult to connect with people, and that's something I love so much. That's a really big part of my personality is connection. There's a sadness in my eyes that wasn't there before.
Do you get enough support from people and friends?
I do. I get a lot of support from people and friends. I mean, it's always great to have more.
How long have you been feeling sadness?
I think of what I have to be grateful for.
Which are?
I'm just blessed just to be living in this time where I can be on medication, to be living in a place where I have access to medication, to know that I have a normal lifespan. and that I'm gonna be okay. I can have a completely normal life. If this were 1995, it would be a completely different story.
I'm here to tell you, I was there treating people then.
Yeah.
It was very different.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I see this. I see you soothing yourself with that. It works. And
It
I
does.
also feel like giving back to other people must be a big deal to you too.
It's
Big,
huge.
Huge, yeah.
It's fulfillment.
I'm thinking about you at the HIV walk. How excited and thrilled you were with that.
I was, yeah. I want to do everything. I want to go to other countries. I want to bring funding to other states. I want to do everything in this field.
It's fulfilling.
Absolutely.
Let's go back to your relationship. This is a different boyfriend.
Different boyfriend.
You were living with him when we caught up with you?
I was living with him.
And you guys hit a rough patch.
We hit a very large rough patch.
Very large rough patch. What's happening now?
We tried to work it out for a while. We have communication issues. We love each other so much, but sometimes, you know, all the love in the world doesn't create a good relationship.
That's right. So it's gone?
It is.
You gave up.
Yeah, I gave up.
So you back on the dating scene?
No, I'm taking some time.
Okay.
No, not yet.
Were you to go back out there, what point do you think you tell somebody you're dating about your HIV?
I just feel out the situation and feel out the person and try to decide where I want this particular relationship to go.
What if you wanted to move on? What point do you tell them?
I always tell them before things get hot and heavy.
Okay. Before the train leaves the station.
Correct.
Does anybody not go ahead when you wanted to go ahead because of HIV?
I have not had that experience.
So guys are pretty good about protecting themselves?
Mm-hmm. I just tell them to hop on the computer and do as much research as they can about how it's transmitted so that they feel safe being with me and to, you know, just educate themselves on what they're getting into.
The reality.
Yeah.
Now, during the special, we see you tell your friend Dan, the gymnast.
Yes.
Let's take a look at what happened during that disclosure to Dan. Let's take a look.
All right.
So what is this?
What? I've gone through a lot of changes. I have HIV.
Seriously?
Seriously. Yeah.
I don't really know what to say to that.
I know.
When? Her? How?
My ex.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do you still talk to him?
Like I'm fine now. You know, I'm on medication. I'm undetectable.
What does that mean?
Undetectable means that the virus is suppressed to the point where you almost can't detect it in my blood. And
can it get worse than that?
If I don't take my medication and if I'm not under proper medical supervision, it can get worse than that. But in this day and age with medication the way it is, I'm gonna live into my 70s. I can have a totally normal life. I can have kids and
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was waiting to tell you in person, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah, you mean a lot to me.
Such a good friend and a genuine guy.
Mhm.
You're still in touch with him?
Of course, yes.
How'd that feel to tell him?
It was kind of like a weight off my shoulders. I don't know why I waited so long to tell him.
You're nervous?
I was really nervous. I don't know why I was so nervous to tell him in particular, but
What do you think that was?
I was more nervous to tell him than other people.
Than dating partners?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you think he would judge or reject? Or?
Kind of.
Now, I mentioned earlier how much that AIDS walk, you look lit up by that was so lovely to see you that turned on, and none of that sadness lurking around.
No.
What are you doing now for education?
I have signed a contract with an organization called Hope's Voice to do speaking engagements across the country at colleges.
Great.
I haven't had my first speaking engagement just yet, but I'm excited to do that.
It's very fun. I'm sure your impact will be huge.
Yeah. I've been looking for a job in testing and consulting. I would love to do what you're doing.
What Otis is doing.
What Otis is doing, yeah.
And we have another audience question. This is from Hannah. Hannah, where are you?
I again just want to thank you guys for all being here and sharing your story. I find you guys unbelievably inspiring, and you're really just amazing people, so thank you. We kind of talked about your initial reactions when you found out you had HIV. I know you guys just immediately thought it was a death sentence. You were depressed and angry. And so I was just wondering, like, personally, what you guys did to kind of overcome those feelings. Like, when along the way did it just change? Like, okay, I just have to deal with it. Like, what kind of triggered that switch?
It's an interesting question. Is there a moment that you went from, damn it, to I'm gonna be proactive about this. I'm gonna be fine?
I gave myself a year to cope. Went in the car on the way home with my boyfriend at the time. We stopped, we parked, I looked at him, and I was kind of yelling at him, almost probably convincing myself. I was like, no, we are not gonna let this take my life, or our lives. We are gonna do research, we're gonna take vitamins, we're gonna take care of ourselves. We're gonna, in 1 year, we're gonna be HIV negative. It's because I thought I could be cured. I found out very quickly that that's not possible yet. But I gave myself a year, and at the year mark, I was like, okay, you know, it's time to stop being sad. It's time to move forward.
The sadness has stayed, but you now manage it with proactive interventions.
Right. I guess
Yeah.
you could say that.
Well, let's bring everybody up to date to how you guys are doing right now. We'll start with Stephanie. Where are you right now? How you doing? Physically, emotionally, your life?
I am fantastic. Like, seriously, I've changed
Viral
up my...
loads are zero?
Viral load is non-detectable. My CD4 count is a normal range between probably like 500 to 600.
You in a relationship? Not in a relationship?
Not in a relationship, not looking for one. I like where I'm at right now. I love where I'm at. I'm speaking. I'm hardcore advocate and activist. I don't keep it a secret. It's on Facebook if people want to ask questions.
That's your Facebook status? I'm positive?
It says right underneath my name and my picture, it says HIV survivor. And that's exactly what we are. We're survivors.
Exactly.
Whether it is that you live with it for 6 months or 20 years, you're still a survivor of it because you have not let it get to you.
Otis?
I'm great. I'm doing good. I'm undetectable as well. And
you and Kanai are still together?
Yes, we are still together. That's my baby. But I just say I'm doing real good. I'm doing real good.
Family is good. Mom's good.
Oh, yeah.
We're all worried about them, too.
Oh, yeah. Mom, dad, sister, brother, everybody's great.
Kelly?
Honestly, right now, I'm kind of struggling in my life. Health-wise, I'm great. Viral load is undetectable. My T cells jumped like 180.
Great.
Which is exciting. I'm like, got my immune system back. But other than that, I'm kind of, you know, I just broke up with my boyfriend. I'm kind of sad. Other than that, but I'm a warrior.
Are you gonna start dating again?
In a couple years, maybe.
A couple years?
Not looking for a boyfriend. I need to be alone. I have a lot of growth to do. I have a lot of work to do on myself and in the world.
Well, all of us, myself personally, MTV, Kaiser Family Foundation, we all want to thank you. I know this audience feels equally as grateful. I'm sure this audience does as well out there. Thank you for being so candid, sharing your stories, being clear about your mistakes so other people don't make the same mistakes, and really for being so wonderfully open so others may benefit. Thank you. And thank you all for watching. Now, if you want to see more of Stephanie, Otis, and Kelly's stories, learn more about HIV/AIDS prevention, testing and treatment, and how you can help create an AIDS-free future, go to gytnow.org. Get informed, speak up, use condoms every time, get yourself tested. I hope you've learned about that. And get treated. It works. I want to thank you all for watching. I'm Dr. Drew.
Whether positive or negative, we all have a role to play in achieving an AIDS-free future. Head to gytnow.org to learn more. My name is Kelly. I'm 25 years old, and I've been infected with HIV for 2 years. I wasn't having sex with multiple partners without condoms. I wasn't sharing needles. I got infected by my boyfriend, who I trusted. Before, when I was younger, I saw HIV and AIDS on the news, and I thought about how I would react to it. I remember thinking to myself, if I got diagnosed with HIV, I would want to die. And then, you know, when it happened, it was a completely different reaction. It was, no, this is not going to take over my life. I'm going to get through this. This is not going to kill me. HIV is something very difficult to come to terms with. The anger exists. I have sat in my car and cried and was screaming in the car with the windows rolled up. I have worked through those feelings. I went through therapy, and I developed relationships, you know, with my girlfriends and with my family. My relationships have gotten extremely close. That's something that's really good that's come out of this. When you have HIV, it's easy to feel like you're alone. You feel like you're the only one in the world who knows what you're going through. The more time went on and the more people I reached out to, the more support I got in return. Do you think I've changed since getting diagnosed?
Yeah. Like, I think that you've gotten stronger.
That's cool to hear. My friends are very supportive.
She wasn't scared, so I wasn't scared. She said that it was not going to kill her and that it wasn't going to stop her, and that she was going to fight it, and that she was going to live. And so, to me, I hear my best friend say that, and I'm on board, you know? I mean, I'm with her, you know? Don't get me wrong, HIV sucks. I don't want to admit that I've lost something. You know, I'm the one who's like, I'm gonna be positive no matter what. I'm gonna tell you that everything is great and that I'm getting through it. But in reality, I did lose a part of my youth. I was worried about her emotionally, how she was gonna move forward. One of the things that I was worried about was that she felt like she couldn't go and meet somebody else because she was infected. And I don't know why I'm crying right now. You know, all my friends have always told me how much potential I have. And this doesn't hinder me from reaching my potential, nor will I let it. I think it's helped me realize how I'm gonna reach my potential. I feel the need to help everybody I can to not go through what I went through. I did an ad campaign with the CDC. That's where I started, and then after doing that, doors opened, and the more people I can reach, the better.
So what are you gonna do now?
November 29th is my first speaking gig.
Oh my God, you already have one?
Yeah.
What? You didn't tell me that.
I can't believe I didn't tell you that.
No.
It's a half hour of HIV/AIDS education and then a half hour of my personal story.
Okay.
My life would be completely different if I didn't have HIV. I would never be doing speaking engagements if I didn't have HIV. I would never have done the AIDS walk, to be honest, if I didn't have HIV. Sai is an amazing friend. After I told her I have HIV, she actually took an interest and we started working on a documentary about HIV and AIDS for her school.
Know your status.
Know
it's
your
better
status.
to know than not to know.
Definitely.
don't want anybody to experience getting diagnosed. If I can help one person avoid getting this disease by telling my story, then I've done something great in the world. I didn't know anybody who had it before I got diagnosed.
How many people do you think that you've told that you have HIV?
I've told a bunch of people. I've told a ton of people, especially women. I talk to a lot of women. It feels better for me to tell people. I feel like I'm not alone, you know? I just want to help people. I want to change the world for the better, and I think I can do it. I really do. Whether positive or negative, we all have a role to play in achieving an AIDS-free future. Head to gytnow.org to learn more. Whether positive or negative, we all have a role to play in achieving an AIDS-free future. Head to gytnow.org to learn more.
My name is Otis. I'm 25 years old, and I'm HIV positive. I contracted HIV by having unprotected sex with someone that I did not know the status of. I did get mad at myself. I was very disappointed because of the simple fact that I had a flashback of that night where I did not use protection. When I first got diagnosed, I started asking questions. Am I going to die? Do I have to take medication? What's going to happen now? You know, what's happening next? And then when she told me, you're going to be fine, you can live a long, healthy lifestyle, and you know, everything's just going to be good as long as you do not give up. Those words, by telling me do not give up, that stuck with me. When I got diagnosed with HIV, I think it did make me grow up. Other individuals start to drink. They probably start turning to drugs more. With me, I cut back. It did make me realize that, okay, if I don't take care of myself, I mean, like, I could really die. I could be gone. I know I had a life to live. It's too soon for me to die. As far as being on billboards, I was selected for a campaign called Greater Than AIDS. It's about spreading awareness about HIV and AIDS by showing people's deciding moments. Deciding moments are everyday opportunities to take a stand against HIV, to be greater than the disease. I chose my deciding moment to be when I told my dad that I was HIV positive. I asked my dad to do it with me, and he was okay with it. I was surprised that he would do it and kind of questioned like that, wow, does he really, really love me that much? We're both the type that we really won't cry. We'll kind of hide it behind a smile. But it was very touching.
You look good. Thank you. Awesome.
Oh man. Now I see where I get the go to the
thank you.
The goatee and look at Dr. Dan.
I've been looking all over you.
And you finally got it.
Finally got it.
Of course, I see him all the time on the buses. I've seen a few on the trains, and I also seen one on 635. And yeah, the one in the paper.
What paper?
In the Dallas Voice magazine.
Wow. Awesome.
You know, I can't imagine how it must have felt for him, and you know how people may approach him now because he's on billboards and buses and things like that. So, you know, and I'm thinking to myself, would I do this for my son?
All I can say is this is so surreal. It's awesome. It's bigger than life. I'm glad you let me be a part of this because you could have picked your mother, him, anyone else, but my fat face is on there. Wow.
Have you ever been on a billboard before?
No. But my son's right by my side, and I'm by your side. All right. Guys, regardless, love your children, support them no matter what.
Oh, man.
Give me love. Give me love.
'That's the real.
I really respect my dad for doing this. We need to do what we can to spread awareness. And if that means putting my face on a billboard all over Dallas as someone who is HIV positive, then that's what I'm going to do. To this day, there's still a stigma against people with HIV. I recently went out with two friends. We were looking forward to going to a nightclub to dance and have fun while a documentary crew filmed us. But the club we were supposed to go to turned us away once they found out that the subject matter of the documentary was my HIV status. Knowing that the club didn't want this to happen at that spot because of my status, I'm not upset. I'm not. It just makes me want to educate more. It just makes me want to. It makes me want to, grab them and pull them closer to me. The one thing I want people to realize about HIV is it's real, it's alive, and it's out there, so get tested, know your status, and if you turn out to be positive, get into care. But HIV and AIDS is not a death sentence. You can live a long, healthy lifestyle as long as you are taking care of yourself and care, doing what you have to do in order to, like I said, maintain a long, healthy life.
Whether positive or negative, we all have a role to play in achieving an AIDS-free future. Head to gytnow.org to learn more. Whether positive or negative, we all have a role to play in achieving an AIDS-free future. Head to gytnow.org to learn more.
My name is Stephanie. Call me Steph. I'm 25 years old and I'm HIV positive. I didn't know anyone that was positive when I first got diagnosed. Didn't even hear about HIV when I was younger, so there was no talk about STDs. Only the sex education class in the 7th grade, and that was it. The first person that I found out that was positive was myself. Being diagnosed at 19, that was devastating. I just thought I wouldn't see 20. My spirits were incredibly low. Self-esteem was shot. It's just that whole phase of nobody wants me, nobody's gonna want me, nobody's gonna, excuse me. It was that time frame where I didn't think anybody was gonna love me. And it's just like, how am I gonna tell somebody my status without them looking at me and judging me? Soon enough, I started getting educated. And that's when I started to learn more about what HIV, AIDS is. And then I started to find other people that were positive.
So again, I want to welcome you to our Community Testing Center and Education Center.
Art was one of the very first people that I met that was HIV positive.
Let's give my sister and my friend, Miss Stephanie Brown, a warm, warm welcome.
I met Stephanie at a speaking engagement. There's something about her that intrigued me. I saw her strength and I saw her struggle, and I saw myself in her.
My name is Stephanie. A lot of people always ask why is it that I'm telling my story and what it has to do with them. They may not be having sex or even with somebody, but people have to realize it didn't have nothing to do with me neither until I got diagnosed.
What I would share with young people is, if you're not positive, do everything that you can to stay negative. And what I mean by that is protect yourself. But for those people who might become positive, what I would say to them is, there's hope. There are people out here who genuinely care and love you and will be there for you, and that we can get through this together.
Me going out and speaking publicly was therapy for myself and also reassurance for the next person.
Tell us, what was your defining moment that said, I wanted to be a volunteer and start this journey?
I think I just got mad because I was looking for somebody to go to but I couldn't find it. And it's just like, why in the world are people keeping it such a secret? Nobody's talking about it. This is crazy, and this is one of the biggest issues. The next generation that's coming up, that's my biggest concern. I wanted to be an activist and an advocate for others and just fight back. Yeah, I could definitely have children.
I've been doing this work for a long time now, and she's one of the people that I know can make a difference in this field.
Look after each other like family. Make sure your best friend, call her your sis, have you been tested? When's the last time you've been tested? And get on her. And also at the same time, look at yourself. When's the last time you've been tested? Had I not went in to go get tested, I'd probably be dead. Seriously, I would be dead. Definitely after coming out publicly about my status, I've become a much stronger person. My tattoo is very symbolic. It's a jaguar. It represents the fight in me. When I'm feeling, I go numb, trying to tell you I need you without looking dumb. Images of different ways I could come here because I want you near. I write poetry, I write spoken word, that's my outlet. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Cheek on ear, I feel you here. Palms cover wrists, limbs clench, then twist. I'm not looking for any kind of sympathy. I don't want your sympathy when it comes to my story. I don't want you to feel sorry for me because I'm living with this. I take full responsibility for that. And that's the first step to accepting. It's not going away. I have it for the rest of my life. I have to take pills for the rest of my life. I have to start going to the doctor every 3-4 months for the rest of my life. This is just another battle that you have to fight, and you will win, but you'll never find that out until you start fighting back. So I had to fight back.
Whether positive or negative, we all have a role to play in achieving an AIDS-free future. Head to gytnow.org to learn more.